everybody, this is your girl, Miss Terrell. Thank you for stopping by Esteemed Queen and Mentality. Be sure that you like, share, and subscribe down below. Hit that notification bell if you like what you're hearing, so that way you know when we have our tea talks. And be sure that you go over to esteemedmentality.com. We got a lot of good stuff going on over there, including our devotionals that we upload weekly. And we got a couple of different giveaways and announcements happening as well. So a couple of people have asked about the warrior community. Let me just go ahead and clarify that right now. So we have a Facebook warrior community, and we also have our extended community, which is on my Patreon channel. So I like to think of my Patreon channel kind of like the HOA community, you know what I'm saying? So if you like what you see here on our YouTube channel, be sure that you go over to Patreon, sign up, so that way you get to know everything else that I'm talking about. Yeah, it's a bit more open in the Patreon community than it is on YouTube, because, you know, just to monetize, there's certain things that we can't do, can't say, etc. So go over to Patreon if you really want the TT, okay? But I want to talk about something that I saw this past weekend. So I finally sat down and watched the SurvivingRKelly documentary. And I've said this in videos before, I'm gonna say it again. The music industry is wicked. Like, all this time y'all sitting here talking about some fresh out the ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. He's sitting here talking about little girls. You know what I'm saying? And his way of making up for it is for him to come out with the Step in the Name of Love with everybody in all white, listening to good music on a boat, probably eating pot bowls and shrimp and lobster. Yeah, that's all nice. But I want to talk about something that has to be brought to my attention, something that I had to kind of go back and, I guess you can say, I had to acknowledge it for what it was, so that way I can really put it in front of myself that even I need to be aware. I'm a person that people that know of me will tell you, like, I can go out and go somewhere, I can get jazzed up, dressed up, cleaned up, etc. And people will look my way, people will try to engage in conversation, but my energy is, I'm not the type to date, or I'm very, 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 very picky about who I allow in my energy and who vibes I accept. So I literally am completely oblivious. Like, both male and female can take a look at me, and it really, like, I'm completely oblivious. Like, I'm in my own lane. I know what I got going on. But reality had to set in for me this weekend, and being in quarantine, you know, whatever emotions that you come across, I've learned to just go through the motions and keep going. I'm not really a big person, like, emotionally, as to, like, how I feel about things to move me. Either I'm happy or I'm quiet. But it made me come to a point in a place where, watching this documentary, I had to be 100 with myself. And I'm a person that observes a lot, even though it may seem like I'm oblivious. But growing up, I was a person that was just always like, yes ma'am, no ma'am. It's I don't know the words to explain it because I moved past it, but I definitely understand my emotions, like what I feel. I just don't speak on a lot of them in a way that many do. You know, I could sit here and make a couple of videos and, you know, have something on my mind that it should really just be purged and cleansed out. But at the end of the day, that's nice and all, but the day's not going to stop. I still got the same 24 hours in a day. So I'll deal with it in due time. This is what happened watching this documentary. Now, I will say this. I started working when I was 15. And, I got my first job when I was 15. And in the midst of me at 15 getting my first job, where I was to be stationed to work, was in the midst of being built. So eventually, when the place was built, training was done, I was 16. I had this one guy that will come in like 2-3 times a week. And at this time, like I said, I was like 15, 16. I was still a teenager. You know, my parents still put me on their taxes, that type. And this gentleman, I remember, I think his name was Lewis. He was like well in his 50s. And the first time, you know, people came, I was more of a person that managed the dining room. So I was to keep it clean, etc., etc. And then so, you know, I can get tips and everything. So, you know, I ran the dining room and I just noticed that this guy kept coming in 2-3 times a week. And it was one time when I was coming out of the restroom from cleaning the bathrooms, something told me to look in his direction. When I look into his direction, he had the greasiest look in his eyes I've ever seen. I've seen glassy, I've seen dilated pupils, but when I say greasy eyes, that's my way of saying, like, I saw something over his retinas that registered to me that you need to be careful. You feel me? The most my parents or my mom talked about, you know, pedophilia and stuff like that was when I decided to start walking to work after school. And she was just like, look, you got 34 registered sex offenders in this neighborhood. So whatever way you walk, let me know. And I'm going to tell you, you need to walk fast, you need to ride your bike, and you do whatever, but don't stop. And so this past weekend was my first time really consciously accepting the idea and the feeling of, at 15, 16 years old, I knew the feeling of being preyed on. And I was able to discern a predator. So when that job ended, it was a bit of a relief for me because I didn't have to see him. And I made sure that when I did come into work, I didn't see him. And I made sure the way that I left work, he didn't see me. Because I already knew the feeling of feeling like prey. So that job came and went. And then suddenly, mind you, I'm 21. Now, mind you, if you saw me in real life, I do not look my age. I look younger than my age. So through the years, you know, he kept contacting me through social media. He was liking all my pics and stuff. So I had to watch what type of pics I would put out, because anything from the shoulder below, folks would go crazy. Even when I was 16. When I was 16, I looked like I was between 17 and 18, but now I'm in my 30s. I still look like I'm like not even over my mid-20s. So, I got married, and yet he was still contacting me, still liking the pictures and everything. And this past weekend, watching this documentary really punched me in my head and told me, like, you know the feeling, you know that traumatic, eerie feeling inside of you, and you need to talk about it. Stop covering stuff up. Stop laying everything up underneath the rug, and just be 100, because you can help someone. I met someone this morning, that said something to me that made me connect, and it allowed me to see that I need to keep going with this. And she said something on the lines of, she didn't have anyone to like talk to. And I'm just like, girl, I feel the same way. At the end of the day, that don't mean I'm lost. It just means I'm sensitive about my energy. Now, moving forward, as naive as I put myself off to be in front of people, I was not naive mentally. I felt like I was more strategic than anything, because again, I didn't allow him to see how I came and went. I didn't let him know what school I went to. I didn't let him know none of that. I didn't let him know I lived in the neighborhood 3 minutes away. I didn't do none of that. It was just when I was able to make a clean break, I made a clean break. You know, like, I had that feeling that I was being preyed on. And I'm serious. You have to pay attention. Now, watching this documentary, I'm going to tell you straight off, a lot of them parents need their ass whooped. Because one group in particular, I want to say it's that Azriel girl. Let me tell you something. As adults, as parents, if you out here having kids, listen to me and listen close. Because just like how doctors and pharmacists know what they're doing to make customers and opioid addictions go to an all-time high, parents know what they're doing too. I don't care how much you don't like punching in. I don't care how much you don't like hearing that your salary does not equate to the training that you have. Your children are not pawns. These two, I got some words. I'm going back in my feelings. Azriel's parents went to an R. Kelly concert with their daughter. This is how all this started. To a point where this girl took off with this grown-ass man. And now the parents are like, she knew she wasn't supposed to do anything without one of us in attendance. Hold on. How much sense does it make for you to be an adult, grown-ass adults, and what sense does it make? First of all, that girl was 15 when she went to that R. Kelly concert with y'all. What sense did it make for you to have a teenage girl at a grown man's concert where he's gyrating and grinding and doing all this other type stuff? That wasn't even for her at that time to be knowing about or to be listening to. So for you to go and take her to a R. Kelly concert, you knew exactly in your mind what you were doing. Then for them to be like, oh, well, you know, all the charges and stuff were dismissed. We ain't think nothing of it. That's the problem. It doesn't matter if they were dismissed or acquitted. The bottom line is this man has been under fire and pressure for doing something to kids your children's age. So what sense would it make for you to put your child in that environment where this grown-ass man is not scanning the crowds for grown-ass women? Predominantly majority of what he went after was young and of age. So as parents, I don't blame the child, I blame the parents. Y'all know what y'all were doing. And y'all sit here, y'all feed y'all children all these dreams that you can do it. You find one person you think is going to make them whatever it is. That's your responsibility to give them principles to stand on so they can go out here and do something the right way. You go and just traffic them the fuck off for a damn paycheck. You need your ass beat. You need your ass beat. Straight up. Then you going back and forth all over the world trying to find her. If you kept her ass at home, sold that third ticket so y'all can get a dinner after the fucking concert, maybe your child will be home. Maybe your child won't be where they are. At some point, you got to pay attention. Kids too. I don't care if you want to walk to school. That's great. Got all that backyard? Walk around there. But if it's for me to put your livelihood into somebody else's hands, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a nanny, whether it's the gardener, whether it's the damn school bus driver, trust me when I tell you, you need to be on their ass. Because just as much as it's going to hurt for you to cry to hear that they did something wrong, I'd rather they come home with a bad report card and have to sacrifice their summer and go to summer school than me to get a fucking phone call, my child telling me, no, I don't want to talk to you. For what? Oh, because he said he's going to give you what you want. You know how many acting schools and theater schools and performing arts schools I could put you in so you can be where you need to be, and you out here behind him? Again, it's the parents' fault. The kids need to be more aware of what's going on just as much as the parents. And the parents are just as wrong as the kids running off. You need to teach your, and then this is the thing that really got me. The father of Azriel. And now I feel like this. Father, man, boy, man of the house, I don't care. Your ultimate job is to provide and protect. A woman could profess and take care of herself, but for a man to have his 10 toes down in a house, to be part of a union, you are to protect at all costs, not expose. You're supposed to be the backbone of your house. You're the backbone of your tree. You are the roots of your tree. So for you to say, as a man, as a father, the charges were dismissed. So I saw it to be okay. What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't know father. Don't know father. Oh, I'm trying to tell you what I know. You think my father was going to haul off and let me go out here and do what I want to do just because someone told him that they can make me what I want to be? No. No. My dad got outside with me first to play basketball before anybody tried to tell me 2 seasons later I was going to be athletic and successful at how good I was playing. No one sold me on the idea of in 7th grade, I was good enough to keep going to practice and to perfect my ability to play basketball because the WNBA was a good option for me. You can't tell me that before my father does. You can't tell me that compared to someone who gave me this talent. You can't tell me shit. Look, I'm going to figure it out how I want to figure out. I'm going to do it how I want to do it. But it's not always the way of the parents or whoever's oldest, whoever's the mentor that can tell you what to do or what you got going on. You need to stop being oblivious and you need to be aware because shit like this is happening. It's not always the fact of the children are just walking off the sidewalk and then they're never coming home. Sometimes the parents out here are the ones that are pushing these kids and then the next thing you know, they don't come home. They can't come home. They don't know how to come home. Then they want to sit here and sell themselves to sit here and say, well, that's my daughter and I love her. Let me tell you something. I don't care how much a child fights you. I don't care how much a child is fighting you. Break that shit down where they understand. Okay? Look. You leave this house and I don't know what you got going on. I don't know what you wearing. I'm going to show you a documentary to make your ass find out why it is so imperative for me to make sure that you're okay. These kids, they so brainwashed and out there. And believe it or not, we got men out here, 20s, 30s and all, that are doing this. R. Kelly sat right there and said on that documentary, they should have stopped me 30 years ago. So that means he was doing this shit at 17, 18 years old. This shit is beyond me. But I mean what I say. Folks need to be more aware. Be aware. Listen to what you tell folks. Listen to what they tell you. I have this thing where I listen to what people don't tell me before I really absorb and process what it is that they're saying to me. Because a lot of what they're saying in between the lines is really what they want you to understand as a bottom line. Depending on how vulnerable you are to have it happen, they're going to sell it to you in such fudge words. It's going to make you believe that they got your best interest. So when they hauled off and said, well, you know, we got someone that's going to help co-mentor Azriel and this is what's going to be what it is. Oh, so what you're not telling me is my child's going to have a handler besides you. So whenever it is that you want to do what you want to do with my child, despite the fact of you told me how, you know, you're going to help them, my child's no more of my responsibility because I done signed her off to someone else again. It's damn near like modern day slavery. You gotta be fucking careful. You know what I'm saying? These reality shows are the same way. They'll sit right there and they'll say, no TV. They'll give you all the alcohol in the world, but no TV, no cell phones to a point you are going ape shit. And that's when they start taping. Then when they get their kids back, they want to cry and boo-hoo. No, don't cry and boo-hoo. You won't fucking aware. And then one of the girls, the one that was all of a sudden transformed into a boy, and she was pretty much the boy tour for R. Kelly. Let me tell you something. That mama looked real nice. When it was all said and done, she got a child back. She looked like any other medical bill code collector, whatever the fuck she wanted to call herself, in the midst of her child gone. But once her child came back, did you see how polished she was with her hair slicked down, got her nails done, got all... Stop playing with me. You need to be alert and mindful and aware. Because these people these days, she sat right there in that damn vehicle and said, man, if money could buy anything. You can't tell me these folks didn't trade their children for something. Then the girl that looked like a boy, she was like, well, she was 18. She wanted to go to Atlanta, so I gave her my blessing. Hell no. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I don't give a damn if you 18, 8 months, or 188 years old, and you still living. You are my child. So even if I sit here and hear you say that you want to go somewhere where I can't touch you, I can't drive down the street or the highway to get to you, but you're going behind some person that's going to sit here and say they going to make you into something. First of all, the parents make you. Not someone that's out here who had to go through the same hoops and bounds to be able to be what they are, to tell you who the fuck you going to be. No, we going together. We going together. And she didn't do that. She just sent her off. Y'all got to be mindful. Y'all got to be alert. I'm trying to tell you, you think Joe Exotic is something? You might as well call R. Kelly the new Joe Exotic, because that's exactly what he had going on. And again, I blame the parents. I don't care how much they want to make it. I don't care how much money you don't have. There are ways where you don't have to sacrifice your child or your soul, because the only reason why you staying up at night is because you weren't paying attention in the first place.
The depths of the media sees no evil. Buildings crashing 9/11, no sake for the people. Children take to everything, others willing to feel anything, just to say they were there. Boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, domestic violence. Do you care? When the curtains close, your head hangs low. You're wishing someone was there. Just turn to me for relief. I know how you feel. I am you. You are me. We share symptoms of the black sheep. Aren't you aware?
This image, I remember howling winds, nights trying to hustle, so 10 degrees, ash on my knuckles. Coke in my long john, sipping on the brisk. A tall glass of nigga, please, who get a sip of this? Coke in my long john, slave to the sin. Call me young coke there if the cops try to frisk. I may get a grip, I may get a grip. I may slapping 20s, lobster tails and some shrimp. I used to bump Wayne all day as a pimp, now I'm past Wayne Drake, I'm going in.